Most of you have seen my profile on the website. So I'm a counselor as well as I'm a teacher. So when on the website it was written teacher, it was very connected to me. That's what I am. I'm working with different organizations. My expertise in mental health issues as well as addiction, with the couple counseling as well. I'm running a Islamic supplementary school, which is I think so is the main blessing for me. So when as a Muslim counselor, I think I always feel there is a big gap between counseling or therapy and we can say the Islamic theology, we can say, because we think that, I think personally, counseling is very British wise. We think like that. We think, okay, we don't need to do the counseling. What sort of counseling it is? We either think about Islam as Islamic, we think about counseling as counseling. So I always try to research on that part, and I find quite an interesting few bits that even in the Quran there are things written which is very self-reflective. So that's my main objective is to find out those parts. Now here, let's start from the boring side, which is introduction. But I want to make it more interesting for you. You have just a workshop on introduction to yourself, something like that, isn't it? So you have enough introduction about yourself. Now let's introduce yourself to others. Yeah. So in next 1 to 2 minutes, what I want is you all can just get up, grab someone who you haven't introduced yet. You can see each other by face and smile to each other and just say Salam Alaikum like that, but you don't know enough. So in next 2 minutes, I want you to see who you can connect to. Yeah, I don't want to say left, right, or back or forward. It's your choice. You can go to anyone, say Salam Alaikum, whatever you want to say in 1 minute. Listen to her, what she wanted to tell you about yourself, and just come back in the seats. So let's start from there. Okay, welcome back. This proves that ladies talks a lot, isn't it? Because the brother side, they have finished and they were looking at me and I thought sisters are still in the Yeah, okay.
If you give us 24 hours, we'll never stop.
Exactly, inshallah. But the thing is, I'm sure now, if you are looking at the faces, you know more than just faces. That's what it's all about. And the reason why I have introduced this little bit activity now is just about self-empowerment, the introduction of self-empowerment in addiction. The way I have said to you, all of you, that okay, let's go to the task. You find out what is right for you. You find out your pathway. I've just given you the outline, and you find out the right person, where you were going, what you wanted to introduce. That was self-empowerment. I was not dictating exactly that okay, go to the right person, go to the left person. That all about addiction therapy is. So we give the client only the introduction or the outline. The rest of the thing is all about him or her because it's their journey. That's all about self-empowerment, self-reflection, where we are, and are we accepting even that we are inclined to addiction. Going to the main topic, addiction. Is there anything comes up in your mind with word addiction? Is there anything comes up as visual in addiction to you? Okay, let's hear. I'll come back.
Generally a bad habit that's hard to get rid of.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it. Yeah.
It's usually harmful substances like drugs,
Yeah.
alcohol, and cigarettes.
That's really. But when we look at addiction, normally that's what comes up: drugs, cigarette, alcohol. But addiction is much more than that. Addiction is anything, any substance, any activity which we continue using or we incline to using it until they start damaging our well-being. And it can be like anything like shopping. Ladies are inclined to the shopping and they don't accept, but there is a part when it comes to the regular normal routine, to the place where they start addicted to that. Nowadays, in this generation, people are very much inclined to Facebook addiction. That is very much a part of addiction. So anything which release dopamine, the chemical inside us, and we feel great to do that, that is addiction. People are internet addicted. They use all the time, and they don't accept. They said, oh, because of the work, because of that, because of that. But we have excuses all the time. But is that in the normal range? And if it is in a normal range, that's fine. But if it is not, then this means it's going from the regular use to the addiction. I'm working with different Muslim organizations, and it's very hard to say that we tend to accept that we tend to not to accept the reality that addiction is a part of Muslim Ummah. Although that's haram, we consider it. But there are youngsters who come to me and they cry and they said, oh, actually we gamble. There are people who are coming who are alcoholic. There are Muslims who are coming who are drug addicted, and there are lots of Muslim, and 80% of them are women, which is very, very sad. And those women are housewives who are sex addicted, and which is very, very sad part of it. And it's I'm sitting in the platform where I'm really, this is a sensitive topic, but I want to just create that awareness that it's not something we can keep the blind eye and we say it's okay. We'll do the activities in the later on to let you feel that how it is when you're someone very close to you. One of your family member comes to you and say, but I'm addicted to this thing or that thing. What it creates for you in yourself. Is it acceptable? Is it even for you to think that person can do it? Because our judgments come first before then our actual working with the person. And that, I think that is a very big barrier, because as a Muslim we create this barrier that, oh, Muslim can't do it, and that's it. So we almost shut it off completely. We don't want to listen the other person's issue. And in my personal experience, the people who are addicted to these things, in somewhere they are spiritually not connected to Islam. Why? Because we can give the reason why this person is not reading Quran, doing 5 times salah, whatever. Again, our judgment comes first. But there must be something mess in their life at that time which made them feel so low that they can't have that feeling or the power to connect to Islam or to connect to any spirituality kind of thing. So if somebody comes to me and I start doing the advice or nasiha or kind of dictation, it won't work for them. So first of all is just to accept wherever the person is. Give them your hand and say, here I am. If you want it, I'm here to help you. And just sometimes that is enough, nothing more than that, because this means they know that whoever I am. So basically my idea behind is, don't hate the person, hate the situation. You can hate the situation where the mess is. You can't hate the person, because that what it is. If Holy Prophet hated all the Ummah at that time, the people who were really nasty, much more nasty than this, we wouldn't be here as a Muslims. So we almost taking that on board too much, almost a baggage, almost a extra burden that we are Muslim and we can't do it, and if you are doing, you are not Muslim. So kind of our judgments come first. Okay, now with other addictions, we have gambling, we have overeating, like bulimia, the people who actually eat so much that they end up choking or throwing out. So these are also a part of addiction, because it's not in a normal range. Then it will be a part of their routine, and they are inclined to do that to the limit. When there are times when people actually cried in front of me and say, we want to leave it, we don't know how. And that is very sad part, that if you want really a change in your life, then you don't know how. Okay, let's. I know. I'm making you a little bit sentimental, a little bit aware of the sensitivity of the topic. So let's do that. This part again. I want you all to get up again in the group of 2, 3, 4, whatever you like. Again, it's very much about your feelings where you are. I want you to sit and talk about what your I want to give you the opportunity that if you don't want to be a part of this activity, you can stay back, and that's fine either. But I want you to sit in this with this person and tell them what you are struggling with. Yeah, okay. Here's a person. For example, if I tell you I struggle with tea. I give the excuse to myself. Actually, it's because it's evening tea. It has to be done or something like that. So in the month of Ramadan, it is a really battle for me for a cup of tea. But that is a kind of a inclined towards the addiction side of it. And I can say no, it is a normal routine. But yes, when you are struggling with something, that is a kind of in part of addiction. I'm sure that doesn't create dopamine in me. I'm sure. But in your case, what you are struggling? Are you struggling with Facebook? Are you struggling with Viber? Are you struggling with your friend's social circle? Are you struggling with shopping? Or what else? Whatever. So just tell the other person and listen to them what they are doing, where they are struggling. Yeah. So let's make sit together in group of 2, 3. Okay, so how was that experience? I'm not asking you to give me the detail where you are with your content. I'm just asking you to tell me what was the process look like. Do you reflect something? Were you being aware of something which you never been, and you find that okay, this is something I'm struggling. Was that the case, or that was just?
Yeah, I was quite excited in the sense that when you were speaking, it made me think about what I was like on the thing that the sister was talking about.
Okay.
And it kind of led us to kind of analyse and compare.
Okay.
In terms of the pros and cons of either or kind of meant practically in life.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite interesting.
That is very interesting part of the process, because as a counselor we are human beings as well. So although we tend to take the hat on of non-judgmental and give the empowerment to the other person and unconditional positive regard and all sort of words, but the thing is, at the end, like the sister said, there is something coming up for her. It sometimes happen that other person's story trigger your insight or something bring up. Of course for counselors it's different, because we've been trained, or we have the support other ways. But as a human being, let's think if it would be the person who was sitting next to you was your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, you're someone very close to your children, someone blood to you, someone very close. How would that react? Would it be different if he or she is telling you the same story, that I'm actually struggling with this? Would it be different? And if it would be different, that is what we are looking for. That if a person who is coming to you with addiction and saying to you, well, I'm addicted to gambling and I can't leave it, I've spent a fortune on it, and he could be your father, he could be your son, he could be your husband, would the empathy come at that time? Would the same range of unconditional positive regard hit you at that time? I'm sure everyone would struggle. And the vice versa, if you're one of your sister, one of your mom, one of your daughter came to you and she said that she can say that I'm addicted to something which is much more devastating than even gambling, would it be acceptable for you on the just statement of that? Would it be acceptable for you to accept the reality that this lady is actually struggling? And would that same kind of empathy comes in? I'm sure
we
that
can't accept it, but we have to show them. We accept it to help them, but
Exactly.
inside we can't accept it. And she tell me something which is very serious, very wrong.
Yeah.
But I say, okay, we have to deal together to help each other to get rid of this one.
MashaAllah, and that's what it is. If you accept the problem, it will be minimized in any way.
Yeah.
But if you say the problem is not there, it means that you are keeping a blind eye, and it won't help in any way. It can only get better to devastating ranges. And the thing is, in my personal opinion, especially people with the addiction, they first try to knock the doors of their own, and when they can't find, that's when they shut down and they say, okay, nobody can help us, so what? I'm doing it. If I'm doing the, let's say, bulimia, throwing out, if maybe their family know, and they are saying, oh, this is wrong, you're throwing out, this Allah's risk, and this and that. So there are statements, they can listen, and they think, okay, tough luck, I am doing whatever I want to. So the first part is to accept that there is a problem, and that's when the second step will come, inshallah. Okay, what addiction is? Addiction is one thing, you spend excessive time, too much time on it. The second part is loss of control. Your control, your self-control is not there anymore. The third thing is you are participating actively regardless of any danger coming in. Like in bulimia, you are basically, what you are doing is you are playing with your health. In your gambling, you are playing with your fortune, the money, yeah. And then of course the main thing is Islam belief is on the top of it. Alcohol, it's damaging your everything, parts of body. Smoking, the same thing. Drug, very bad. It can take your life. So everything, you are aware of the facts, you are aware of the pros and cons, still you are doing it, because now it doesn't matter anymore, yeah. Now the last bit, which is very interesting, these people, when they are addicted to somewhere with something, they end up being lonely in the isolated place, and that is very hard bit, because this means they can't now get any help from anyone, because first they try to knock, they get these judgments, they get these statements, then they shut down, and that is very lonely place, and that is very, very dangerous as well. If in your family somebody who is addicted to drug, and you know, and you are just keeping a blind eye, where he is going to end up, or where she is going to end up, you don't know. He could be somewhere. This is something which I want to share with you. I've seen people dying actually, and they are the people who are, if you consider the Subhanallah, they are one of the top, and when they die somewhere on the side of Savory, somewhere side of, a kind of canal which is very dirty, and people consider them that they have no one actually, and actually in their life they had no one, because if they would have anyone, they wouldn't end up there. So that is a very sad place. Okay, now let's try that. Okay, I understand now. Okay, yes. I'm sure you have the handout. If I would like to have a look on that along with me, because I would like to switch on here, but as it is not working, let's try that. Okay, if you got the third one handout, which is number 3, stages of addiction, this is what I would like to tell you, where we are, and with your self-reflection as well, which is stages of addiction, page number 3, occasional use, regular use, and addiction. If you're going to the party maybe once on, and you are doing shopping for that reason, it's occasional. That is not under addiction. That's not a problem. If you are having a cup of tea or something, one odd, that is not addiction. If you are having a cigarette, although I'm not considering that is healthy in any way, but once in a blue moon, that is not addiction, because you can come out. And then the second stage is regular, that you are using it more often. And the third stage is you can't now limit it, you can't actually minimize it, it can only go up or stay there. That's where the actual struggle kick in. And normally when the clients come to us, they don't come in the first stage or second stage. They come when it's very obvious, it's there, and they are struggling, yeah. And sometimes it's to the limit where it is going to impact their whole well-being, their lifestyle. Maybe if they are married, their family, their children went away. If they are having the parents, their parents have might have thrown them out already. If they have a wife or a husband, there is a divorce going on in between, or separation going. So actually one issue causes multiple issues. So then we have to look at as a couple what's going on. So a couple counseling needed. There could be, if there is a family, then a family counseling needed, a relationship counseling needed. So actually one issue creates so many other issues for them. So that's where normally they come. Okay, now the next one, which I want you to, but normally if you go on the fifth one, those are the types of list of addictions we tend to know. And this is very common. You all know heroin, you all know tobacco, you all know alcohol, you all know cocaine, you all know all the other names, and most of them, yeah. Some of them are chemical names, and even I'll be honest, I don't know. And I remember the first time I was sitting with a client, and this is very personal stuff that I didn't know the names they were talking about, and I was feeling myself very inadequate. And then I realized it's not about the name of the addiction they are talking about. It's about the process where they are. So if a person come to you and say to you that actually I'm addicted to opioids, or I'm addicted to cannabis, maybe you might don't know the names of it. The person like me who came from another country, in any way, the name would be a difficult task to learn. So, and for you as well, you are now expertise of expert, yeah? What important is where the person is, what the person's struggle is. And that's what you need to feel the empathy with. Okay, what works for them? As a counselor, there is CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. You might have heard this name a lot in the NHS. So we try to make them aware what's going on as a feeling, what's going on as a thinking, what they are doing. So there is a pattern in between. So always there is feeling kick into them, and that's where their thought process start to act in a different way. So that's where CBT works for them. There is a reality therapy that we tell them the reality where they are. And there is a chemical dependency education. This is more like, not like a counselor, it's more like a GP telling you that you are going to end your life like that. There is a Alcoholic Anonymous. You might have known that, AA, yeah, name. It's a AA. It's very much everywhere at the moment, wherever, in every borough there must be one or two setups for them. What Alcoholic Anonymous they called as Christ-centered therapy. It's very interesting to be here and talking about that. When I have heard it, I said Christ-centered. This is very interesting for me to explore. And when I got to know, and I'm going to share it with you, there is a 12 steps of this therapy, this model. It's very much close to what Islam talk about. Give them the empowerment. Talk about God, what God is telling you. Talk about, but slowly. Don't throw it out. Let them be aware. You can't just first time they come and you say, Wallahi, na'udhu billah, you can't do it. Haram, haram, haram. They will run away. They won't come back to you. So you can't do it. And especially when I'm sitting with a scarf on. Mostly when the people come in, they said, okay, so you are judging me if I'm going to tell you something. And I said, okay, test me because it's been quite a while. Or sometimes, yes, it hurts as well that a person who you least expect is there. But that's fine because that's not fine for them, but that's fine for me to accept it and move on. Especially then when you talk about mosque, again, people don't go to an imam. Think about, if I'm going to tell him, he's going to judge me, like lots of time. Same with, you go to the parents and having a father with a beard and a mother with a scarf, you don't want to go. That's a no boundary. You can't tell them. You have a sister who is going to Islamic Center for Circles. You can't tell her this is going on for you. So where you are ending up with your bad company, bad society. Yeah. So normally it started from there and end up in a very lonely place. So that's very important for us to, with our scarves, with our beards, accept that this is a reality. This happened quite a lot. Now with AA, this is the main idea behind is to give the power to the person. Tell them this is your process, where they are, it's their journey. Whenever they want to move on to the next step, they will. The only thing is which they expect in AA program, Alcoholic Anonymous, is 3 times in a week. So they have to come in a group for 3 times in a week. It's like a circle, and I would love to have, and I'm inshallah hoping to go to this step where, and I'm dreaming for that we should have an Alcoholic Anonymous kind of structure for Muslims, a circle where a person, a female, a sister, or a male brother can accept in a circle and sit. So it would be like Alcoholic Anonymous, but it wouldn't be exactly the same. So it would be more like something more spiritual to our side, more inclined to Islam based. However, this model is available at the moment. Then we have a therapeutic model, community model, in which people tell me, what do you think? What is the common factor in addiction? If a person you think there is a person who is gambler, who is think about a very very normal idea we have. What is coming up for you? If it is he's a gambler, he's a drug addicted, or he's an alcoholic, what is the reason? What is the main cause of it? Could be
I think the problem is family.
Family, okay, separation with the family,
society.
loneliness.
Yeah,
Loneliness?
first family,
Okay.
then the society.
Okay,
The
anything
school
else?
and the society.
Sure. At the back, it's
I said deficiency in a person. I wouldn't say it's the family, because I worked in the bookies prior to becoming a Muslim. I worked in the bookies for 5 years. Well, that's about 10 years ago. But I worked there for 5 years, and there were lots of married men in there, men that had gambled their mortgage, their house away.
Of
So
course.
it's not always about family. I think it's a deficiency within the person.
yeah, you're
Or
right.
they're missing something. Maybe they feel lonely, or they feel they're not good enough.
Yes,
Anything?
that's right. So first of all, self. Okay, yes.
A sense of control in what otherwise seems sort of everything's out of control, that one thing you can control, you kind of hold on to it.
That's another very valid point. There could be thousands of the reasons, but first reason, self-control. You lost the self-control in between somewhere. But if you go back to the why would a person lost self-control? If I'm here and I'm here to tell you conducting this workshop, I can't, God forbid, unless I wouldn't die or I wouldn't lost my mind, I will be in self-control till the end of this workshop, hopefully, inshallah, if Allah will give me this health and the life. Yeah, the same with you. You people have come here. You are with some objective. So I'm sure, inshallah, you will be in self-control. Why would we lose the self-control? That's where the why it is. It's somewhere isolation hit, and normally for the gents, there is a research being done. 85% people who are gambler are recently lost their job, and they end up in this vicious cycle. Of course, then they can stay for 10 years in the gambling, but when that kick in, their anxiety get high, their stress get high. They want to, first of all, maybe they want to make it hide from their wife. I'm still working, so I'm going out. So he went out. He said, okay, I have 10 pounds. Let's throw that money and take out 20 maybe. Bring it back to wife and say, I have earned. So they try to make it hide, and they made this vicious cycle, and where they end up in the gambling, and that's prolonged forever. Same thing if you talk about mostly women and the men. Isolation, when isolation coming for women, mostly when they don't have children, the children fly away, they went in their own homes. Sometime unluckily the marriage doesn't work, or the parents they die, or parents separate, they are lonely. With the gents, why it is happening? Normally with the brothers, when they lost the job, they lost the social circle, they lost the friendships, and that's when it all mess up. Yeah. So for a therapeutic community, the most important thing is we want to give them tell them the social and life skills training. So we give them that training, as well as we help them to search the jobs. So we are not job searcher fairies for them. We just give them these are the tools. You can go back to the work, and inshallah it will be good. The most important part is person-centered. That be there for that person. I always tell the people that it's not going to be easy, and it's written in, it's one of the code, but even in a normal any kind of counseling, I tell the people, it's not going to be easy. This route which you are taking is going to be very challenging. However, this route is going to be worth it. So once you will step onto it, it will be full of challenge, but inshallah there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's very important. Then the most important thing is, if they come to you, first of all, try to forgive them so that they started forgiving themselves. When a person comes to addiction and they understand there is acceptance that there is addiction going on, the most important feeling for them is shame and guilt. They feel guilty why they are doing it, why they are messing the other people's life, why they are messing their own life. So if you are throwing another stone on them, that will be the last straw on the camel back. So you need to say that's okay, to let them feel that's okay. Not that that's okay for the addiction, but that's okay what you have done, move on. And that is the first step for them to forgive them. Yeah. And once they will forgive them, then the second stage is trust on them and let them build their trust. And then the last would be they can love themselves, they can empower themselves. Okay, now I want you to I would like to have here, but I'm sure that wouldn't work, but what initially I visualized. So let's say I have 4 chairs here, and let's say we have 4 people sitting here, and just imagine. So I'm going to introduce you. The first one is Brother Ali, sitting over there on the corner. He came in this workshop. Doesn't came in the workshop. They came to you. He comes to you because he's the only sibling you have at the moment, Brother Ali. Yeah, and he's at the moment just at the age of maybe 20 plus. He's a very young boy. He was a very good boy initially. He was so-called as a practicing Muslim, everything. But now what he's telling you, which really shock you, is that he's a drug addicted as well as alcoholic. He came to you and he's crying in front of you. He's pouring out his heart, and he's telling you that actually what happened when dad thrown him out because he didn't complete his GCSE. Dad and mom thrown him out. Actually, dad thrown him out, but mom didn't have any say in the family in any way. So she stepped back. He ended up on the street with the so-called wrong community, and in the isolation, he ended up in this alcoholic situation. Yeah. Now you are the only sibling he has, and he didn't tell anyone except you. What is the feeling for you at the moment?
Very sorry and very angry.
Very angry.
And very
Very
sorry
sorry.
also.
Okay. Anything else coming in for you? For Brother Ali?
I
Need
feel
to help.
ashamed of myself that I couldn't help him, and then that he couldn't come to me and speak to me. I feel ashamed that my own brother couldn't come to me.
Okay, so I'll write for you just in case. I would like to do that there, but that's fine. So there is one ashamed and anger, isn't it? And then sorry as well. So look, if anything else coming in for you, Brother Ali, for Brother Ali who came to you now, he's 20 plus, he lost everything, his life in this addiction. Okay, let's say if he's really a brother to you, he's your only sibling you have, how would you feel? That your initial reaction would be, okay, I'm feeling bad because I couldn't help you at that time when you were not. When you were in regular usage, you were not addicted. But for that, you are feeling guilty now. You are taking your feeling, that shame, your guilt, your everything. So now you tied in your own feelings. So you are not completely available for him anymore. And a person who is very sensitive like Brother Ali, what he would say is he would shut himself down, block himself. He wouldn't tell you anymore because he feels, oh, my sister is so hurt by me telling her, or my brother is so affected by me telling him that I'm addicted. So by the end of him, this situation, he would tell you another story. No, I was addicted actually. I'm not anymore. I'm fine. Believe you me, I'm fine, brother. I'm okay. So he will either change his story, or he will just completely shut himself down and don't see you anymore. Yeah. Okay.
No, I want to clarify. I wouldn't be ashamed of him. I'd feel bad that I couldn't be there for him.
Yes.
And now I would
make sure that he knows I am there for him.
Jazakallah khair. So for clarification, okay. So yes, I think so. I pick up the right, but what happened is when we feel something and the other person is sensitive and he feels that you are feeling ashamed at the moment about yourself, that you were not there. If he's sensitive enough, he wouldn't upset you more. So what he would do is he wouldn't burden you anymore. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But in the case, if you will say, well, I'm available, I'm feeling ashamed that I wasn't there before, but I'm now available for you, 100%. It might open a door for him. He might think, okay, now my sister, now my brother is available here. Now the second brother, let's say talk about the second brother. He's Abdullah. Brother Abdullah is having a kidney dysfunction. He wanted to have a kidney transplant. He couldn't find any kidney donor now. He's really affected. His health is deteriorating. He lost his job because they sack him just because he has so many holidays at work. They are not ready to give him sick leave. He's really frustrated. He lost everything, and now what he is doing is basically he's doing gambling, because he's telling his wife that he's working. He's going more in the morning. He stay in this place, this casino, comes back in the evening, throw whatever he has left over every day, and he came to you because you are the only friend he can rely on. Or you are the only person, in the sister case, you are the only person he can rely on emotionally. What is coming for that person? A person who is gambling, and Brother Abdullah again, he's struggling in his place. What are the feelings for you? Sympathy, yeah. So when there's a very big difference between a sympathy and empathy. When you are being empathic, you are not giving yourself away. You are being empathic in the process, yeah. And when you are being sympathetic, you just give yourself away as well. So when we are being counselor, we being conditioned. What conditioned or trained for the being empathic but not sympathetic. Because if I will with every Ali, every Abdullah, everyone, I'm going to be sympathetic, I wouldn't be here, yeah. So it's very important, if you are in your blood relative, in someone who is close to you, someone like that person comes in, you don't give yourself away, because you need to keep your one foot on the place, dry place, and one in the sea with him, so that you don't drown. You don't want to end up drowning yourself. You end up in the good place with him. So that's very important. Okay, third sister is Sister Maryam. She had been married for 20 years. She's in her early 50s. She had children. She had husband. She had a lovely family, and her husband just cheated. Sorry?
Get married again.
Get married. Cheated on her, and he divorced her. He blamed her for not providing everything on time for him. So she's carrying that blame. He took the children away, so she's lonely in the home. She's going through a menopause as well, so there's a lot of things going on for her, and she's end up watching pornography in the home.
I think I will kill her husband.
You will kill her husband. Anything else? Well, I would like to kill her husband. That's for sure, but I can't do it. And let's go to any other solution, which is better than maybe killing, because we can't do it, isn't it?
I would ask her to, introduce her to a sister circle or a community, so she uses her time productively and her mind is off those things, because she feels useless. We know this has happened to her. She needs to feel useful, and she needs to realize her potential.
Jazakallah khair. Such a brilliant idea. I think so. That's what I was looking for, and that is exactly.
I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. I would like to kill him as well. To be honest, there are so many times when I would like to kill the whole family, but I can't do it. So I would end up sitting with them. But yes, that is what it is exactly. Go take them to that. Take them out from that setup where they are. There are people. Sometimes I'm doing online counseling as well. So there are sometimes people who say to me, we want to switch on off the TV. We don't know how to, from where that power coming to switch off the TV. And it's very easy to switch off the TV, isn't it? It's very easy to switch off from the remote control. But I can't say that to them because for them, it's not easy. So just take them out from that setup and say, let's go out. Let's have a fresh air maybe. And of course, let's go to the circle, sister circle or brother circle, so that he doesn't have to have that time in his hand. Now the next, and the thing is, there is a research being done in Harvard University, I think so, that a lady or the sister or a brother who is ending up this kind of affair in before 18 years old, in their teen age, they end up having at least 5 partners or 5 relationships later on in their marriage, because they've never been settled. It could be any kind of relationship. It could be they would end up divorced, they would end up being widowed, but that is being researched. So and the thing is, in any way, it's not about Islam only. Of course, this is very important that Islam is telling you it's haram and everything, but it's about where you are. You are putting your life on hold because, of course, your husband or your wife wouldn't accept it. So first of all, they will throw you out. Then you end up yourself, and this the only addiction where shame is much more than guilt. So it's like you can't go out to tell anybody. Then the behavior of change. There are stages of behavior of change. Okay, I didn't introduce my 4th brother. He is brother Ahmad. He's lost. He was a businessman. He was on a very prestigious place in the family, in the community, in everyone. He was the eldest in the family, so lots of responsibility, lots of respect for him. He lost his business all of a sudden. He's being bankrupt, so very isolated place for him. What he does is he doesn't do any that kind of addiction because it's difficult for him to do. What he does is he does self-harming.
Does what?
Self-harming.
Oh.
To the stage where he wanted to take his life away. He knows it's haram, so it's better for him to put a cut on his wrist maybe, or cut where nobody can see maybe, not even on the hands, somewhere on the thighs, on the legs where nobody can see. And he's in a very isolated place. His family left him, his wife left him, his children left him. He's sitting in this house, in this room, which is now rented because of course he lost his home as well. He had nothing, just a knife. Where would you go with him? What would you say to him? And he came to you because you were his neighbor. So he saw you as a sister wearing the scarf, or he saw you brother who is going to in out for the mosque or anything. So he came to you, but he told you with that feeling that what you are going to say. And what would be your initial reaction?
I think first of all, I have tried to take the knife from him. Second, I have to take him to the mosque, tell him there is Allah and it is haram, and start to talk to him slowly, kindly, very friendly, very close to him, to show him it is haram to do that.
Amazing,
And it is
mashallah.
very difficult situation. Very
Amazing.
difficult.
Mashallah. What is the feeling coming in for you? Yeah.
Frightening.
Sorry?
Frightening.
Frightening. Okay.
Also perhaps like explore other, like, because I think
Other stories.
with someone who owns a business, etc., that it can easily, or I mean, even if it's just a job, those things can easily become something that defines you as a person. So it can be all about.
Okay, sure.
So like, it can be about like, that thing, that one thing, for example, is he owns a business, that defines who he is as a person. Having lost that kind of creates chaos in terms of who he is as a person and where he stands, and in terms of the community and even for himself as a person. So I think it would also be about like exploring other interests and things that make you who you are, and not just that one thing which you've decided defines your existence. Because
Alhamdulillah, that is amazing thing. That telling him to explore more ways of self-identity rather just this, because I was a businessman and I was a family man. That was me. So I can give my, I struggle sometimes when people say who you are. So I say, am I giving, and it might be something you come across as well sometimes. If a random question, who you are, introduce yourself. So you say, okay, can I give you first my gender? Because they know my gender, I'm a woman, okay, or I'm a man. Or can I tell them I'm a Muslim, I'm wearing scarf, they know in any way. Or I'm telling them that I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have a house or whatever. So that is that my identity? Am I a counselor? Am I job? My work? I'm a teacher? Is that my identity? So who I am? That everyone has their own identity in their own way. So definition of who you are is you only can interpret. Not anyone else can do it. Some people can say, oh, I'm just a housewife. I'm just a housewife. And I say, oh, mashallah, you're a housewife. You are following the footsteps of Hazrat Khadija, Hazrat Aisha, so you are, mashallah, those kind of, one of those kind of followers, yeah? I'm not completely a housewife, and I feel ashamed of that. But I'm saying that just for sake of it. But when they say just, means they don't feel proud where they are, isn't it? Now this gentleman, Brother Ahmad, he doesn't feel proud anymore because his self-pride is completely being demolished, because he was a businessman, that was his identity, definition, or him being a family man. Is it me or is it going on something else? Alhamdulillah.
Sorry.
I think Mike doesn't like the sound.
There's no one off by now.
Okay.
Ahmad, hug Mama.
So that's where he needs to find another identity, who he is. So might be it's a good idea to take him to the mosque so that he can find out an identity of being a Muslim, or being a man in the social circle, or make him realize that it's another way of looking at him as well. He could be a very nice person. He could be a very generous human being. He could be a very humble-natured person. Thousands of things in this man, but he knows only two things: businessman and a family man, which has been taken away. So very important thing in the recovery is telling them the person who you are, yeah, and another way of looking at who they are. And then the second person is to find out, second way of to find out the cause, what the cause was. If the cause is that he is alone, we can't take out the knife from their home, because from his home, because I'm sure he can find out 1 pound milk instead knife another time, or yeah. So that would not be maybe a way to deal with it, but the way of dealing with would be take him out from that room where he's stuck, yeah, and say, let's go out and find. Yes, sister.
Even small things like, inviting him for dinner with your family once or twice a week.
That is a mashallah brilliant idea in which he can connect. If he's a family man, he could connect with the families very easily. However, again, being empathic means you need to keep that boundaries, also being aware of the fact that he lost his family recently, so he might be finding it very envious to you to have a family. So you might be very sensitive about that fact. So it might be for you slowly taking it. So maybe it would be a good idea taking him to the mosque somewhere and then slowly introduce. Like for example, if a person who is challenging in his finding challenge in his marriages, 99% when they come to me, they say, you are wearing the wedding ring, so are you a married woman? So that is a question, because they find it struggle to engage with me. So why would I tell you my problems when you are a happily married person? Because that's triggered them. So we would not tell them that we have children, we are married. Of course there are something, of course I'm wearing the scarf and everything. So a person, think about a person who has just lost everything. He has beautiful children, the children just left him, so he wouldn't have any trust on the family in any way. So he would be mistrusted in a way from everyone, that because I had money, people were around me. When I lost the money, people left me. So he would think about you as one of those people. Oh, so you have money, that's why sister you have family around. Once you will lose the money, then you will come in my shoes, then you will end up like me. So he would struggle with that. So being empathic means to put yourself in their shoes and see how he sees the world.
Okay.
And he could be sees quite differently the way you see the world. Yeah. So it's something which before we going on the further side of it, you're looking for the time. Inshallah, I will finish before 1 o'clock. Inshallah, hopefully. Is there any question till now? Do you
Just about the lady who lost her husband,
Maryam.
her husband took her children.
Yes.
I think for the woman, it is very easy to forget her husband, go to hell, but it is very difficult to forget her children.
Of course, sister. That's very important.
So when you take her to community, yes, I agree with you, to take her to the community with her brain, with her children.
Of course.
You can't take her brain, children from her brain. You have to find solution for her children to go
That's
back to
very-
her.
That's very important. And I'm going to introduce these 4 people again. These are the life characters. These are not something I'm making it up. They are among us.
Yeah.
So with Sister Maryam, if you think about that, she lost the family and how to find out the way of children coming back to her. There could be a way that you can go for the human aids, women aids, or something like Muslim lawyers or something like that, so that she can get the justice. Another way is, the very important thing is, if she is, because the person like them, if they are so much family orientated person, and this sister was looking after her children, she's craving for the children around, isn't it? So it might be a good idea to take to the mosque where the children are playing, and she can look after, she can volunteer there, yeah, so that she can feel that the vacuum in her could be filled up for a while, not to rather keeping her in that closed walls where she end up in somewhere else, which is very difficult. Yes, sister.
But then wouldn't that make her jealous?
Yeah, I was about to come.
Yeah.
I was about to come,
Yes,
but
that's
give her time. That's the thing. In addiction, there are very subtle stages. So you don't need to step out too much. Don't need to step in too much. Now you could say that you are a counselor. That's why you're saying. So yes, that's fact. That as a human being, as a one of the family member, it's a huge responsibility on you. So you don't have to be extraordinary sensitive, because if you are oversensitive, you could cross the boundaries. Yeah. So what you need to do with this sister or these brothers is basically be yourself, but aware that you don't have to give them the judgments, and that's all. That's all they need. That this lady accept me, who I am. This brother accept me, who I am, and that's enough for them to give them the power. That now you can do the second step yourself, and the second step they will take themselves. First, if you will accept and they will accept themselves and they will forgive themselves, then it's very easy for them to go to the next step, which is recovery, to recover. So then they might come to you and they will say themselves, oh sister, can I volunteer in the group of the children? I like that. So she might come to you in any way. Yeah. Okay. Yes, sister. That was the only. Okay. Now the last bit I want you to do is now I want you to go back in the same place where you were struggling, yeah, and think about and this would be a meditation exercise. So I would like you to, for a minute, to just close your eyes and just follow my direction, yeah.
I will go to sleep.
Oh, hopefully no. Okay, so just close your eyes for a minute. Okay, so I would like you to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And I want you to go and sit in front of one of these people, Brother Abdullah, Brother Ahmad, Brother Ali, or Sister Maryam. I want you to one of their relatives. I want you to one of their sibling. You might be a sibling. You might be a next door neighbor. You might be a friend they can rely on. I want you to sit and feel how it feels for you right now. What you can do for them to give that empowerment. What right now is the first sentence which let them feel that they accept you, who you are. And what is the body language for you to be in front of them? What you can do for them to accept and forgive where they were in their life. I want you to just connect with that for maybe 30 seconds, and when you are ready, you can come back in the room. Yes. Are we here?
Yeah. I
Back? Yeah. Okay, sister.
I want to talk the brother who lost his kidneys. I lost both kidneys. I was working. My son was so young, little boy. And when they know in my work I lost kidneys, they tried to get rid of me. I had a lot of problems. But I didn't do what he did. I tell him, I didn't do what you are doing. I tried to stand on my feet, to look after my son, to find solution for me, and I found Allah is my solution.
Alhamdulillah. But the thing is, sister, alhamdulillah, what you were doing is you were giving him reality therapy, which I
That's right.
talked about,
Yeah.
that this is. But sometimes with a person like them, they are in different parts of the life. They are in the different spectrum. It could be they're emotionally so drained, they are spiritually so disconnected that it's not going to work. For you, I am sure, alhamdulillah, Allah has taken away your health, but Allah has given you your spirituality, or let you connect with Him. So, and that was the biggest thing for you to rely on. You were thinking
And
you
I
might
will
be,
explain to him what is doing. It is not a solution.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
might want to say that, brother, this is what I did. However, you
That's
could,
right.
but in that way, you need to be very sensitive. That if you would feel that you are judging him, he might won't come back to you in any way. There are thousands of the times when we know the solution, yet we can't do that because that's their journey, isn't it? I'm sure with Sister Maryam's case, there are thousands of the ladies outside who are in the same places like them, isn't it? But not everyone end up in that place. This means there was something going on for her. She was so hollow inside, she was so down that she couldn't do anything else except that. Yeah. So in that way, if we would say to her that I'm divorced as well, I am having trouble with my children, I'm also ended up in that place, but I'm not doing what you were doing. So what she's coming across, it might be I'm trying to help her, but what she's thinking is, oh, this lady is so judgmental. I know, which might be in your case you want to help, but let him see first you are trying to connect with him or giving him empathy or giving him unconditional positive regard, yeah, and then say offer that. Actually, reality is I'm also in the same shoes like you once, and I didn't do what you did.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Just in regards to what the sister was saying, I think if I was to tell my problem to someone and they was to say to me, oh, I've been there and I didn't do what you did, that would make me feel worse. Because I
Exactly.
think, well, then what's wrong with me then? If someone else has gone through what I've gone through and they haven't struggled in the way that I'm struggling, then what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
So I think that would make me feel worse.
Exactly. I'm working in a teenage school where the teenagers, especially the boys, they struggle. They struggle in a certain age. Now, now the thing is, the most common thing which is coming up is my dad or my mom says we were having the same teenage. We never did what you were doing. So that is kind of for them in a very isolated place and big gap between them. Oh, so you can never understand where we are. So how would you judge us? So the thing is, this is a very common thing which we say as a parent in any way, oh, I did the same, I didn't do these things. We do that, and that's very common for us as a parent to do. But where the child come from, this means we are completely unempathic at the moment with them, isn't it? Because we are looking from our eyes. We need to look from their eyes what's going on. Yeah, and that could be different. It could be that Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you something which he didn't have at that time, and that was faith, trust on Allah. Yeah, and maybe that he didn't have at the moment, so he need to build up faster to stand up there, inshallah. Anything else coming up for you after seeing these people as one of your relatives? Anything else?
First thing you need to ask them is, why do you want to stop this, and are you willing to try?
Yeah.
And then
Excellent
I will
question. Alhamdulillah. That is, I think so. You people are counselor in any way. You are practitioner. No, I'm not saying that. But this is the first question which we normally say. What brought you here today? So to understand where they are in the stage. Are they ready to quit? Are they struggling because everybody has left them and they are drowning, and that's why they want to come us? Like some people, when they are not coming to us because of the gambling. They are not coming to come to us because they are addicted. They come to us because their wife left them. So the divorce thing is going on, and that's why they phone me and they say, I want a counseling to sort out my marriage. And in between I realize, okay, so he was a gambler, and then I say, brother, let's sort out that problem before going there, because that is a cause of her to run away, isn't it? But he doesn't see like that. He sees, because she's going away, I'm doing more now, isn't it? So this is a very good question. What brought you here now? What is happening in your life? And it's a last bit. Now I promised you I will finish 1 o'clock, so I will inshallah try to do it. And forgive me if I can't. So it's a page number 3 which I'm going on. Sorry, not page number 3. Why am I going to page number 3 again? It's the 7th page, number 7. Strengths and weaknesses, and that is going to be the last part of it. If you go to the strengths, that is very important. This is what you can do with anyone. Yeah. Tell the person to boost his self-confidence, to feel good about himself, taking them out. Yeah. Identify the uniqueness. So that person who lost his business, his uniqueness wasn't only business and his family. His uniqueness could be anything else. And tell them about the inspiration. That's where, sister, your thing come up. So what you were saying about me being lost my kidney, then you can take them to the inspiration side. That they can inspire by someone, and they can actually inspire someone else in the future as well. So this is the stage when you can tell, actually, I was in the same place where you were once, and I have lost my 2 kidneys. And one day, you can be a role model for someone else. So you are giving him a power that inshallah one day you will be like that. And then the weaknesses. So tell them their past failures. If they have tried before trying to quit addiction and not did it, and it's only worked if they tried before and this didn't happen. So then let them to reflect what happened at that time, why they didn't move on, why they quit the addiction. And look for the patterns. What happened happened at that time, why they couldn't quit. So it's all about what happened in the past, and asking them to go to the beliefs that if they would have a belief, like this gentleman, brother Abdullah, his self-belief was, I lost everything, so what if I lose myself as well, yeah? Or the sister, she might be thinking, everyone left me, I have one source of place to go and almost escapism for me, yeah? So her self-belief could be different. So we need to ask them to change their self-belief, yeah? And the most important request, don't be too hard on yourself, because at the end it is about you. You are a human being, so we all are human beings. We can make the mistakes, and this is a journey for them and for you as well.